Welcome back to A Veil of Crime. Tonight, we unravel one of the most infamous cases in American true crime history, the story of Aileen Wuornos. Branded by media as Damsel of Death, Wuornos was one of the first women in modern U.S. history to be labeled a serial killer. Her crimes, confessions, and the complex life that led her down this dark path continue to spark debate today. Was she a monster, a victim, or a tragic blend of both? Aileen Carol Wuornos was born on February 29, 1956 in Rochester, Michigan. Her childhood was marked by instability, abuse, and abandonment. Her father, Leo Dale Pittman, was incarcerated for child molestation and later died by suicide in prison. Her mother, Diane Wuornos, abandoned Aileen and her brother, leaving them with their grandparents, both of whom were abusive. By her teenage years, Aileen had already endured sexual assault, homelessness, and neglect. At just 14, she gave birth to a child who was immediately placed up for adoption. By the late 1970s, Aileen was living a transient life, often surviving through prostitution, theft, and short-term relationships. Her reputation grew for her temper and violent outbursts. She moved through various states, ultimately ending up in Florida in the mid-1980s, where her life would take its very darkest turn. Between 1989 and 1990, 7 men were found murdered across Central Florida. Each victim had been shot multiple times, often in remote wooded areas. The victims ranged from middle-aged businessmen to part-time workers. Wuornos admitted to killing them, but she claimed that she acted in self-defense, insisting that the men had tried to assault her while she was working as a sex worker. Her victims included Richard Mallory, David Spears, Charles Carskadon, Troy Burris, Charles Humphreys, Walter Antonio, and Peter Seams. While some evidence suggested Mallory had a violent past, the courts dismissed her self-defense claim as a pattern of premeditated killing. Wuornos was arrested in January 1991 at a biker bar in Volusia County, Florida. Her lover, Tyria Moore, cooperated with police and helped extract a confession from Aileen in exchange for her own immunity. Wuornos eventually confessed on tape, but her accounts varied, sometimes claiming self-defense and other times admitting to robbery. Her trial became a media spectacle, painting her as both a ruthless killer and a broken woman. In 1992, she was convicted of the murder of Richard Mallory, and additional convictions soon followed. Wuornos was sentenced to death for 6 murders and spent more than a decade on death row at Florida State Prison. Her behavior grew increasingly erratic. She claimed the prison system was torturing her and that she would be taken into a spaceship after her execution. On October 9, 2002, at the age of 46, Aileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection. Her final words were chilling. "I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back." The story of Aileen Wuornos remains one of the most haunting in American criminal history. Her life forces us to examine questions about abuse, trauma, gender, and justice. Was she born a killer, or was she made into one by the cruelty that she endured? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. What is undeniable is the trail of devastation that she left behind. Lives lost, families shattered, and a nation horrified. This has been A Veil of Crime. If you found this case as chilling as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories where history and horror meet.